So the basic requirements for an industrial private mortgage is value mostly. You know, what is the value? Private lenders feel comfortable around 65%. Then they look at the other things, you know, the servicing and the tenant, but the main thing is the value. Private lenders have become a key source for industrial lending. One, I mean, there are more smaller units. On the when a mortgage is smaller, when a unit is smaller, a lot of banks, they really just want to do larger mortgages. They don't do the smaller things. So private can step in and fill that void. The second thing is, there's more of the condo units, the smaller condo units, or even mid-sized condo units that private money is good for. I would say, private lending, anything that's, from 100,000 all the way up to about 2 million is a private lending category. We have a number of private lenders for commercial in and around those numbers. A private mortgage can be a solution for somebody looking for an industrial mortgage. In the case of, for instance, you may have a small unit, maybe it's not that old, where no matter, most of the time banks and trust companies automatically, industrial, they want an environmental. So you may have a situation where it's a small unit, the unit could be 2 or 3 years old and there's only been one tenant, or maybe you've been in the unit as a user, and you're running a business where there's no environmental concern. Well, a private could look at that and say, well, I don't need an environmental. One was done when it was built and it's only been 2 or 3 years. Look at the business, it's clean, it might be food. We don't need an environmental. Sometimes if it's a single-use building, that may be another time. Sometimes it might be an older building, an older industrial building. So private money is good for that. Some of the banks, if the building's too old, they're not happy with the loan, or they may cut the loan down to such a small size that it doesn't help you. And then the last thing would be a quick closing. Maybe you need a mortgage on an industrial property, in the next 15, 30 days. Well, a bank, I mean, their application process is 30 to 60 days, so it's not happening with a bank. So a private lender is good for a quick closing and making a quick decision and closing rather quickly. Private financing for institutional mortgages may not be that much more expensive. The rate might be a little higher and fees are a bit more, but it's quite close when it comes to industrial lending. And there are some advantages to private lending. Sometimes instead of a closed mortgage, you can get some kind of an open, a small penalty or something if you want to pay it off or if you want to do something else. The other advantage is maybe you don't have the property fully leased. And at a bank, it doesn't service. But a private lender will look at it and say, well, you know what, let's give you a 1-year mortgage, and this is the rate and these are the terms. We'll give you the mortgage. You can work for the next 12 months on leasing out the rest of the space. And then at that time, we could help put you into a mortgage with a bank or a trust company. Private lenders usually like to lend no more than 1 or 2 years, for an industrial mortgage. It's not 3 or 5, but there are some advantages at times. For instance, a private lender will do an interest-only mortgage, whereas if you're dealing with a bank, they may want to see an amortization of 20 or even 15 years. So that's talking about cash flow and serviceability. So if your payment is twice as high, in the beginning of, let's say, a business, that can take a lot of your cash flow out of the business. So even having a mortgage for only 1 or 2 years like that gives the business some time to grow and to get strong. And then when you go into a bank mortgage, the business can handle paying payments in the 15 or 20-year amortization range. If you need more information, give me a call or send me an email. Take care.